Yeah, the station originally was used by CN and then, of course, VIA. The station fell into some disrepair, and there were some questions and cutbacks in the late 70s, early 80s about the service, whether VIA would continue when they went through a rough period. So the town purchased the building in 1987 from CN, and we've maintained it in order to have a presence in order that VIA did stop here and we maintained the train system. So there's a lot of people before me that had some forward thinking. The town invested significant money in renovating the station in 1987, opened it up again in 1988. And the reality is that had they not done that and we not maintained the VIA service and the stop, we wouldn't be having this conversation about GO today. We're very excited to have it here. Actually, it's a wonderful opportunity for the town. It's a wonderful opportunity for people to be able to get services and get transportation they previously didn't have access to. It's been over a year. We were consulted. They had people from Metrolinx that sort of reached out to our staff and said that they've been looking at, exploring the possibility of a test. So we've been hopeful, had our fingers crossed for a long time. Of course, we had to keep it all confidential, but we're very excited and we're very thankful they're here now. I've heard that from people that are excited that it's here that have been inquiring about it. There's been lots of inquiries about the service. I was here the first day to meet the train, and there was 3 people that rode the train, so it wasn't a huge ridership. It'll take a while to ramp up, but that's expected. But the reality is I think there's lots of excitement, and I think as the service increases and as people get used to it, I think there'll be more ridership. They tell us that's normal, that it takes a while to build a line and to build a service for people to get used to it, but I've heard nothing but positive about it. So the president of Metrolinx has said to us, Mr. Vester has said that right now it is in the test phase, is that there'll be 1 train a day, 1 each way, early in the morning and then later in the evening. But as ridership grows and as demand increases, their plans are to increase service. So to get a GO ticket, you have to go online and buy your ticket online. The way it works is you go online and then you activate your ticket. So if, for example, there was a cancellation or your plans changed, I think you have to activate your ticket. I believe it's within 12 hours of the trip, something like that. We currently don't have the Presto system, but they tell us it will come. So eventually they will have a tap system. We do have information on the Town of St. Mary's website about VIA and GO, but as well, Metrolinx has a website. There is a QR code at the station as well that you can use, scan on your phone, and the children have taught me how to do that as well, to be able to access schedules and updates about trains as well. So both VIA and GO have websites, and as well we have information on the townofstmarys.com site about the public transportation.
What's going to be happening over the coming week, starting October 25th, is we're going to start increasing speeds from the current speed of 10 miles an hour or 16 kilometers an hour up to 45 miles per hour, which is around 72 kilometers per hour, in a staged fashion. So in the first implementation, October 25th, we're going to go from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Then at some later date, we'll go to 30 miles an hour, and then finally achieving 45 miles an hour. So we're trying to do this in order to allow the community to become more familiar with the faster train speed, become more accommodated to it, and understand that trains will now be going significantly faster, and that it will be very different from what they've grown accustomed to over the past 20, 30, 40 years. In the Guelph area, I'm sure the community was very familiar with us, especially over the last few years. We've spent a lot of time and effort within the corridor there, upgrading the track geometry and generally renewing the entire rail structure. Based on the work that we've done, the track is now good for a speed of up to 50 miles an hour, and in some cases 60 miles an hour. And this all culminated with our signal improvements that were done earlier this spring, which actually makes the signal system good for and safe for 60 miles or 50 miles an hour, sorry. And our overall speed will be less than that. So we're still within that margin of safety that's required by standard, by our regulators, by Transport Canada. So overall, the infrastructure is fully safe. Another aspect to this being through a residential area is we had to fully secure our corridor. Historically, through Guelph, there has been no fences along the railway corridor. People would walk across it at any point they needed, and this created a major safety risk for our crews, for our operation, and that didn't allow for train speeds to go any higher than that 10. Over the past few years, we've put in fencing along the entire corridor through the Guelph area, fully secured, and in certain spots where there's higher trespassing or there's higher risks, such as children playing next to a park, we put high security fencing to prevent that unauthorized access and to avoid any sort of potential climbing occurrence. The train speeds are expected to decrease our running time between Kitchener and Toronto. On paper, we're looking at a savings of between 10 to 15 minutes for the full trip. And we are looking in the coming years, coming 2 years, to increase the train speeds through downtown Kitchener, particularly in the GO operated section, from 30 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour. So similar to what we're doing in Guelph, but in Kitchener. So I would want to reassure the residents that safety is a priority at Metrolinx, and as our statement goes, safety never stops at Metrolinx.